I need to know if I'm alone in my theory when it comes to Sydney Sweeney. I feel like a lot of what she's been doing lately leads into the same playbook that Kim K had.
Before we jump into this, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more celebrity stories like this, because this one is messy, layered, and honestly uncomfortable in a way people aren't really calling out enough right now. This isn't light gossip, it's awkward, tense, and sitting heavy in the timeline. So let's talk about what was going on with Kim Kardashian, because something about this situation felt off compared to her usual drama. Normally, when Kim hit the headlines, it faded fast. The internet got bored. Another scandal replaced it. But this time, the conversation stayed loud. It didn't die down, and you could tell she didn't fully have her hands on the steering wheel. The headlines kept stacking back to back like dominoes. Social media zoomed in on every tiny detail. People replayed clips, froze frames, screenshot moments, and broke down body language like it was a crime documentary. And once that started, the narrative drifted into places she clearly didn't want it touching. You could feel the shift in real time. Between the Tom Brady rumors, the buzz around Jeff Bezos' wedding, Lauren Sanchez being very visibly present, and people clocking moments involving Sydney Sweeney, the spotlight didn't stay locked on Kim the way it usually does. The attention was scattered, divided, and slipping out of her control, and that alone created tension. And let's be real, Kim noticed that immediately. When attention slid away from her, she moved fast. She didn't sit back. She didn't let things cool off. She pivoted, like she always did. That quick reaction, that's been her whole career strategy. Almost instantly, something new dropped, something random, something flashy, something just strange enough to hijack the timeline. This time, it was the Skims surgical-style face mask. Suddenly, it was everywhere. Blogs posted it, TikTok argued about it, comment sections went wild. And just like that, the internet's focus started to wobble again, even though the original tension was still very much there. But then people slowed down and actually looked at it, and that's when the questions really started popping up. That mask cost $50. 50, not 20, not 30, 50. And people didn't just complain, they compared. Screenshots started flying around showing almost identical versions sitting at CVS for under $4 and Amazon listings barely touching $10.
We need to talk about the Skims face wrap. I cannot believe the Kardashians are still promoting this face wrap. And it's actually sold out. This is just mind-boggling. If you're wanting to snatch your jawline and contour your cheeks, and you're expecting this face wrap to do just that, you are going to be wasting your money. These compression garments are used post-surgically to recover healing from treatments like facelift surgery. But wearing this overnight is going to do nothing to slow down or reverse aging. Please do not waste your money. If you want a facelift, go and see a surgeon.
Once those screenshots spread, the internet did what it always did. It locked in. People started asking who this product was really made for. They asked why it even existed. They asked if anyone was actually meant to wear it, or if it was just another shiny distraction tossed into the chaos. And that's when a lot of people hit the same realization at the exact same time. This wasn't really about skincare. It never was. Every single time Kim faced awkward press or uncomfortable attention, some odd product launch appeared right on cue. And now that pattern was getting way harder to ignore. Think back for a second. The nipple bra dropped out of nowhere. People argued nonstop. Memes flooded timelines. It dominated headlines. And just like that, nobody talked about the original issue anymore. Same playbook, new wrapper, same results. This time it was the face mask, only 2 shades, brown and tan. A lot of people said the design looked unfinished, almost rushed, like it didn't get the usual polish. And that detail alone made things look even messier. Memes started popping up everywhere. Jokes circled fast. People questioned if this was leftover fabric flipped into a so-called luxury product. And while all that noise kept people distracted, something much bigger was quietly building underneath the surface. Because the real tension here wasn't about a mask at all, it was about people. And more specifically, it was about Tom Brady. People close to the situation said Kim did not take this well at all. And honestly, that tracked. At the exact same time she was trying to redirect attention, Sydney Sweeney kept popping up everywhere. New roles, new invites, new industry buzz, the kind of attention Kim was used to getting without even trying. Kim reportedly went hard chasing that Aryan Barbie image. She believed it fit her next era perfectly. She auditioned. She positioned herself carefully. She showed up where she needed to be. In her mind, this was finally her moment to step fully into that polished Hollywood space. But the industry didn't respond the way she expected. Hollywood wanted something lighter right now. Younger, fresher, easier to sell. Sydney fit that lane perfectly. Kim, on the other hand, came with decades of public history, a massive brand, and non-stop visibility that studios couldn't separate from her name, no matter how hard they tried. At the same time, Kim genuinely believed something personal was happening with Tom behind the scenes. She framed it as quiet, private, unfinished. Like maybe it was still forming and just not ready for the public yet. But Tom never backed that story in any visible way. There was no hand-holding, no shared entrances, no soft launch moments, nothing that confirmed what she seemed to believe was there. And that contrast became impossible to ignore once people started paying attention. Then came the wedding, and this is where things really stung. Kim reportedly walked into that event with high expectations. She knew Tom would be there. She had always had a thing for him. She expected at least some acknowledgement, something, anything. And instead, she watched his attention drift somewhere else, right in front of her. This wasn't subtle at all. Guests noticed. Whispers started. People clocked the shift in energy immediately, and Kim saw it too. Moments like that don't fade fast. They stick with you whether you want them to or not. And then there's the money side, which honestly made everything worse. Jeff Bezos put $1 billion investment into a lingerie brand that directly competed with Skims. And this happened after Kim spent years building proximity to him and Lauren Sanchez. Showing up, staying friendly, playing the long game, clearly hoping that closeness turned into opportunity. Instead, the investment went elsewhere. Again. And once people laid it all out, the pattern became way harder to dismiss. People also started bringing up how Jeff Bezos ran Amazon. Small sellers rose fast, then suddenly a similar product replaced them. Critics pointed out Skims had developed a similar reputation. A design trended. Something blew up online. Not long after, a Skims version appeared. And now, more people than ever were connecting those dots. Multiple outlets reported that Kim felt sidelined at the wedding, and not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, sinking kind of way that lingered. And it wasn't just about Sydney. Almost immediately after, photos started circulating of Tom enjoying himself on a yacht in Ibiza. First with Dakota Johnson and Kate Hudson. Then Brooks Nader, then Sofia Vergara. The list kept growing. The names kept stacking. And every new photo added another uncomfortable layer. People close to Kim said this wasn't about jealousy, it was about realization. She started understanding something she hadn't fully faced before. The spotlight doesn't stay fixed forever. The industry moves fast. Attention shifts whether you're prepared for it or not, and sometimes it happens right in front of you. And when it came to Kanye, insiders were very clear. His behavior didn't define her narrative anymore. Their lives were separate now. People didn't automatically attach her identity to his actions the way they once did, and that chapter felt officially closed in the public eye. Now here's the part people rarely say out loud. Inside Kim's social circles, people know what's real and what's manufactured. They know what engagement is organic and what's boosted. They know what hype is paid for versus what's natural. And according to quiet whispers, some people already sensed that Kim's IT girl position wasn't as locked in as it used to be. That's where the subtle reactions started creeping in. The looks, the quiet laughs, the side comments said just under someone's breath. Nothing loud, nothing public, but enough to feel. And that kind of reaction cuts deeper than any headline ever could. Kim genuinely believed something romantic could happen with Tom. On paper, it made sense. Both divorced, both parents, close in age, similar social circles. But then she watched him show interest in someone much younger. That stung. Then he was linked to someone older than her too. and suddenly nothing added up anymore. Confusion set in. Doubt followed. The rumors about Kim and Tom didn't last long. They sparked fast, they circulated everywhere, and then they quietly disappeared. No confirmation, no continuation, just silence. And silence can be louder than any denial. Then the photos after the wedding started spreading, and that only made things worse. Tom was seen walking through Venice with Sydney and Orlando Bloom. The images traveled fast across social media. Nobody confirmed anything. Nobody denied anything either. But speculation exploded anyway. And once again, Kim was watching a narrative unfold that she wasn't controlling anymore. Sources said Sydney didn't actually show romantic interest in Tom at all, and that detail changed everything. She stayed polite, friendly enough, but clearly distant, not cold, just not invested. And once people picked up on that, the whole tone of the story shifted fast. That's where things turned truly awkward. The man Kim hoped would finally acknowledge her publicly appeared focused elsewhere, while the person receiving that attention didn't seem interested in the slightest. That imbalance was loud even without words. Suddenly, the internet framed it as competition. Kim versus Sydney, legacy star versus rising favorite, established power versus fresh industry energy. Whether that framing was fair or not didn't even matter anymore, because once the narrative took off, it refused to slow down. Multiple outlets kept reporting on what unfolded at the wedding. Some brushed it off as gossip. Others said there were too many overlapping moments, too many small details lining up to completely ignore what people were seeing with their own eyes. And quietly watching from the sidelines was Sanchez, someone who understands power, attention, and social dynamics better than most people in that room. She knows how these spaces work, she knows how narratives form, and she knows exactly when to stay silent. If anyone understands the long game here, it's her. But that's a deeper conversation for another time. What made this situation feel heavier was how public everything became without ever being confirmed. No statements, no corrections, just images, timing, and body language doing all the talking. And in Hollywood, that kind of silence often says more than words ever could. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think this whole situation was exaggerated? Or do you believe there was real tension behind the scenes? Do you think Kim was actually losing ground, or was this just another celebrity cycle getting blown out of proportion? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoy these deep dives, and I'll see you on the next one.